I was already getting ready to make a 2-round mock draft, going over all the second-round prospects and a little bit of third-round prospects to try to see where I have these guys going in the second round. And then Minnesota drops a bombshell where they trade back into the first round before the draft starts, trading with the Texans, the Houston Texans, to get the 23rd overall pick. There is a lot of rumors going on around right now saying that the Vikings are trying to get into the top 5 to get J.J. McCarthy or whatever quarterback should be there, but a lot of us are thinking it's J.J. McCarthy. And also, there is news that came out today that the Vikings are getting ready to have dinner with J.J. McCarthy, so it seems like it is going to happen. Now, where the Vikings go, I just kind of spoiled where I'm going. Where the Vikings go is a big question. They can go with the Arizona Cardinals, which I assume is where they're going to try to reach for first, because it really seems like with all 3 of these teams, of the top 3 in this draft, trading their quarterbacks. First, it went Mac Jones to Jacksonville. Then it went Sam Howell to Seattle. And then it went Justin Fields to Pittsburgh. Most recently, it really seems like the top 3 are going quarterback, and the draft really starts with the Arizona Cardinals, and so the Vikings are going to try to do that and trade with the Cardinals, but I don't know if the Cardinals are going to do that. They can either trade with the Cardinals, the Chargers, or even the Giants. If they can't get something with the Chargers or the Cardinals, they will try the Giants. And if there isn't a top wide receiver or quarterback there, I don't know if they'll go after J.J. McCarthy or trade down. The Giants could trade down. That's pretty much what I'm saying. But let's go into this 2-round mock draft, man. We've got a long way to go, so let's get it started. We're gonna go and I have notes here to make sure I don't veer off my path of where I'm going. I planned this out ahead of time. So we're gonna go obviously Caleb Williams, and the top 3 can be interchangeable. Most likely the 2 and 3 could be most interchangeable. Obviously, Caleb Williams is not moving, but I am going to stay true to my quarterback rankings, and I'm going to say Drake May go second overall. We could hear a lot of smoke that Jaden Daniels will go, but I just feel like Drake May is a better prospect right now. Jaden Daniels has I would say a really high ceiling and a really high floor, but I feel like Drake May right now at this point is a better quarterback and may be better and here's the thing. Washington could very well say, hey, we don't want another North Carolina quarterback. We can go Jaden Daniels and switch things up and also have a mobility factor to us. But I still see it as Drake May. That could change as the days go on. A lot of people have Jaden Daniels going second overall. I've got Drake May. So let's go to the 3rd overall pick, the New England Patriots. This was about 3 before Mac Jones was traded. A lot of people said that this could be a trade down spot for the Patriots because there was talk about them wanting to acquire more picks, rebuild, and wait for a quarterback elsewhere. But I really feel like they're going to go quarterback here. Your 3rd overall right now, and Jaden Daniels is a superior prospect. He's a really good prospect in this draft, especially at the quarterback position. Heisman Trophy winner. I think you just grab up your quarterback here and then start building, and I think they can do that. They can very well do that. Now, let's look at the Cardinals. Should they trade down? Now, they already have the 27th overall pick. If they trade down with the Vikings, they could acquire the 11th overall pick. They will be trading down from 4, going down to 11, and also having the 23rd overall pick. And then they could even combine these picks to get back in the first, or even trade down with one of those picks. They could do a lot of different things the Cardinals can do. But here's the thing: the Cardinals already have a lot of picks in the top 2 rounds. I believe they have. I have one here. Do they only have one? They only have 1 second round pick, but they still have 3 picks in the top 2 rounds. They could trade down, but I really feel like you cannot miss on Marvin Harrison Jr. You cannot miss on him. Now you can trade down and get Adonai Mitchell or a Brian Thomas, but I think I get the rankings and I guess the gap between those prospects and Marvin Harrison Jr. is insane to miss out on. And they still have another first round pick. It's not like they're like in a Charger situation where they could use another first round pick, use more draft capital. And so you look at the Chargers right now, and they have just the 5th and 37 overall pick. They are in cap hell. They have to release their top 2 wide receivers, Mike Williams and Keenan Allen, and now they have to try to rebuild there and try to get some defensive help as well. So I really think this makes the most sense for the Los Angeles Chargers, and they can trade down and get some still a good player at the 11th overall pick and still acquire the 23rd overall pick. So we are going to go trade with the Minnesota Vikings already here, and we are going to go 5th, 11, 23, and I don't know if the Chargers give up a 3rd or a 2nd, because the trade value for the 11 and 23 is like really high for the 5th overall pick. We are going to say that the Chargers give up their 2nd round next year to try to balance out the picks, because 11 and 23 is pretty high. We can go like third round pick, maybe a 3rd, but they have to balance it out somehow. If you look at the trade chart, it's just like the amount of trade value for the 5th overall pick is like, for 11-23 is kind of high, so they got to balance it out somehow. We're just gonna go through this with this trade, and I always try to go through it and see if it works first, then I'll force the trade. But let's go. We got the Vikings are on the board, and they're going to go the best quarterback available for them, and it's a lot of people chirping about it. It's J.J. McCarthy, and he comes off the board 5th overall. Now, looking at the Giants, I'm a Giants fan, so obviously everybody has their different opinions on where they should go. Obviously there are still people that want Michael Penix at this spot. I don't know if you do that. Even if you like Michael Penix, you gotta look at where the rankings are and how the big boards are and where these guys rank on other people's boards, because you could still probably end up with this player at another point in time, or if you could trade up to get that player. I don't think you go ahead and get Michael Penix 6th overall. So I'm looking now at the wide receivers. Do you go Malik Neighbors or Rome Odunze? I would say the better fit, obviously, is Malik Neighbors. You got Rome Odunze, who adds variety, something that the Giants do not have in height, and, go up and get it catchability with a fair amount of speed and route running. Rome Odunze is a good prospect. I just think at this point in time right now, we need just flat out guys that can make plays short and try to, run after catch guys. Someone that can, because obviously with the offensive line, we don't know where it's going to be right now. We just don't have time. The Giants, it's been a couple of years where the Giants actually had time to throw the ball deep consistently. And I think Rome Odunze is more fit for that. Malik Neighbors is a guy that can catch a slant and take it to the house. I'm taking Malik Neighbors. He's going to be a lot safer of an option. And he's just one of the best run after catch prospects for a wide receiver in a very long time. I mean, he's just so fun to watch, and a great route runner as well. And he can stretch the field too. He is very fast, and he can get downfield as well. He's a do-it-all type of guy. And you can put him outside, slot, doesn't matter. Rome Odunze is kind of an outside-only guy, and we could use guys that could work in the slot. We have a couple of outside guys as it is with Jalen Hyatt and Darius Slayton. So moving on with the Tennessee Titans, they released Andre Dillard. This is a no-brainer pick. A couple weeks ago, this could have been Rome Odunze, but I think it really looks like, especially with them getting Calvin Ridley and still having DeAndre Hopkins there, I think Joe Alt is the pick there. Moving on to the Atlanta Falcons, you got Raheem Morris there, the new head coach for the Atlanta Falcons. I think this is where the first defensive player comes off the board, and that is going to be Dallas Turner. Absolute freak of a prospect, extremely fast. And you guys know, if you guys have been watching my mock drafts for years now, Atlanta is just a team that loves speed everywhere, especially on defense. You're going back all the way to like Takaris McKinley days, Vic Beasley days, Deion Jones, Keanu Neal. Like, these guys are super fast, and Dallas Turner just fits that mold there in Atlanta. Moving on to the Chicago Bears. I don't care. All right. I don't care that they traded for Keenan Allen. And they still got DJ Moore over there. They still need another outside receiver. And Rome Odunze fits that bill. Right now, they still have Tyler Scott, and I believe he was having drop issues. I believe he's the guy out of Cincinnati a couple of years ago, if I'm not mistaken. Let me put my phone on silent so it doesn't keep buzzing. But yeah, they still need another outside receiver. I don't care. I think if you're bringing in Caleb Williams, you want to give him as much talent as you can, surround talent around him as much as you can. Their offensive line seems decent right now, that they don't have to really force an offensive line pick. I really think you go Rome Odunze here. I really think. And on top of that, Keenan Allen is a slot receiver, and he's like 32 years old, bro. Okay, and he has injury problems. He's been injury prone for years now. All right, so we're going to get another trade scenario here. Now, stick with me. I know a lot of people may want to go Brock Bowers here, okay? I know a lot of people may want to go Brock Bowers here. If you're looking at the New York Jets right now, yes, they have a small window with Aaron Rodgers. He's coming off of an ACL injury, and they have a small window with him. They're trying to win a Super Bowl with him immediately, so Brock Bowers may be like best player available. Let's go out and get it right now. But they still have to worry about the future of this team. They don't have a second-round pick right now, and there is a trade offer right now with the Cincinnati Bengals, who just signed Trent Brown, a tackle. That's something they need. They needed tackle help, and they got it. And they could have went tackle. They could have waited for a tackle at the 18th overall spot. But we're gonna have the Cincinnati Bengals trading up with the New York Jets. They're going to acquire the 49th. I have the 49th and a 111. So they're going to swap picks there. And they're going to move up in this draft. And we're going to force this trade. All right. And so the Cincinnati Bengals are on the board, and they are going to grab Brock Bowers. Go ahead and you have a young quarterback in there, and you have Jamar Chase. You may even lose T. Higgins. I don't even know if they have Tyler Boyd there anymore. You lost Joe Mixon. You need playmakers there to try to continue that offensive success you had with Joe Burrow. You already added a tackle. You could go ahead and get another tackle, but getting a playmaker like Brock Bowers should try to compensate for the potential loss you're going to suffer throughout the years on that offense. We don't even know what's going on with Jamar Chase yet. He's still young in his career. But they move up to get Brock Bowers. On top of that, this is something I would love to see. I would love to see a trade for Brock Bowers. I'm trying to see which would be a good trade for Brock Bowers, because if Chargers move down, they're going to get Brock Bowers. You guys know the Michigan, tight end connection, that they love tight ends, and Jim Harbaugh is now in, with the Los Angeles Chargers. They would be a possible team to get Brock Bowers. So I had the Chargers getting sniped. They move down, and they get absolutely sniped by the Cincinnati Bengals after they traded down. And so now they try to get the best playmaker they can, and I have them going Brian Thomas Jr. Now, you can go cornerback here. You could get like a Quinyon Mitchell, but I have a trade with the trade down. I have them getting Brian Thomas Jr. to try to compensate for the lack of receivers that they have over there, because, man, it is bad. At least with their defensive backs, they have talent there. With their wide receivers, it is bad. Quentin Johnston is someone I was never high on from the beginning. I thought he was going to be a bust from the beginning, and it really seems like he's going to be. And besides that, I mean, they have who is it? That Guyton guy that goes deep often, and another dude as well. They had Jalen Guyton and some other guy that goes Palmer, right? That's not good enough. They got to add some more talent. This guy's a deep threat. Brian Thomas Jr., 6'4" on top of that. I mean, you can't go wrong there. And I'm hearing a lot of teams are high on Brian Thomas. He is moving up on boards. The Broncos are an interesting pick here, because I have not heard anything about the Broncos wanting to move up for a quarterback in this draft. Now, they don't have that much draft capital, if I'm not mistaken. Actually, they do, kind of. They have a lot of picks, but they're really late in this draft. They don't have a second rounder. This makes the most sense. They have to trade down. They don't have a quarterback on this roster. They have Jarrett Stidham and some other goober. I don't know. But those guys should not be starting. They have to get a quarterback in this draft. And for some reason, I'm not hearing about the Broncos wanting to compete with the Minnesota Vikings and trading up. I know they don't have much compensation. That's probably why there's no effort in trying. The Minnesota Vikings have 2 first-round picks in this draft. That could be the reason why, now that I'm thinking about it. So I'm going to have the Broncos. They can't get Michael Penix, Bo Nix. Not at 12, man. Just don't do it. Try to get yourself some more draft capital. You have no second-round pick. So, who are they going to trade down with? The Philadelphia Eagles, who are going to give them the 22nd, the 50th, and a 2025 5th-round pick for the 12th overall pick. And they're going to move up in this draft. And there we go. The Philadelphia Eagles are now on the clock, and Philadelphia has done a lot in this offseason. They've done a lot. So one of the biggest needs that the Philadelphia Eagles have is in their secondary. The only thing they did to address that was bring back in Chauncey Gardner-Johnson after he talked all that smack about the Eagles. They brought him back, so Eagles fans are not happy about that. But they still have to address the corner position. Chauncey Gardner-Johnson is more like a slot, safety, in the box type of guy you can move everywhere, but not a boundary guy, which is really where they struggled at last season. Believe it or not, James Bradberry was a liability who is not a shell of his former self. And you got, old man Darius Slay over there. So we're going to address the cornerback position. We're going to go Quinyon Mitchell here, who is a number 1 corner on a lot of people's boards. I think he solidified that, in the Senior Bowl, and I believe that he participate in the combine. I don't remember, but a lot of people love him. A lot of people are high on him. I am as well, and so he comes off the board here. The Raiders are another team where they have so many needs that they should just trade down just to do it. But they have such a glaring hole at tackle right now that I feel like it's too obvious to just miss out on. And I have them going Taliesa Fuaga. He's been obviously rising on boards too. A lot of people even have him as like the first tackle taken, even over Joe Alt. That's weird. Or most notably the second, which is where I have him right now. So second overall tackle taken. And now the Saints. The Saints have an issue with their offensive line as well. Ryan Ramczyk is was contemplating retirement at some point because of injuries, but he is now back. And right now I think he's still I don't know if he's gonna retire. I don't know what the problem is there. I know he has a lot of injury issues there. And on top of that, you have Trevor Penning, the first-round pick tackle from a couple of years ago, who has really been struggling. And I feel like this would be a perfect plug-and-play pick here with Olu Fashanu. I feel like that's how he wanted his name pronounced, something like that. Olu Fashanu coming out the board here. He was once regarded as like tackle 1A, 1B with Joe Alt, but he has since been moving down on boards. I was never that high on him myself. I felt like he had a really tough time handling guys, bending around the corner. He's a guy that likes to catch a lot of his defenders, and that's not going to work in the NFL, unfortunately. So I feel like that's the reason why he's moving out down boards as well. I don't think it's just the Ohio State game. People are thinking that Ohio State game just exposed Olu Fashanu, and that's the reason why he's dropping down boards. No, there's clear problems in his game that he displays everywhere in every game. So he's not a perfect prospect as a lot of people thought he was, and I'm glad I was right on that. So let's move on to the 15th overall pick. There is rumors that they are going to be trading for L'Jarius Sneed. There is rumors about that. I don't know if that's actually going to happen, but for right now, I'm going to have them getting Terry and Arnold. They could probably even go Terry and Arnold, even though they get L'Jarius Sneed. They have problems on that secondary, and they have a lot of young guys on there. The Terry and Arnold would fit in as probably a starter right away, right along with L'Jarius Sneed if they trade for him. Now we have the Seattle Seahawks. Where I have Seattle going? Seattle has no left guard at all. I believe they just signed a left guard. Just signed a guard like 24 hours ago, like Tremaine I don't know his name. I forgot his name off the bat from what I was looking at Our Lads, but he has like 100 snaps in his entire career. The guy is not going to start. He is depth. He is not going to start. I think they're really going after tackle or guard in this draft, and I have them staying in Washington and getting Troy Fautanu. The thing is with Fautanu is I really feel like he is best at tackle, right? He has such good sideline to sideline quickness, side to side quickness, and he has such quick feet. I don't think I don't think he has great power, but he's best at tackle, man. But the fact that Seattle needs a guard that desperately, and he can play guard, it's just a good fit there. It's a good fit for Seattle. Not the best, not putting Troy Fautanu in the best position possible, but I still feel like this would be a good pickup here. I know they still have George Fant on the roster. I don't know if they're putting him at guard, but with Abraham Lucas and Charles Cross there, they're not moving those guys out. So that just makes the most sense to me. 17, the Jacksonville Jaguars. They they could go cornerback. I don't really see a corner that is worth taking right now that they should get. I have them going for, I believe, Byron Murphy? Yeah, Byron Murphy. Sorry, when I hit record, I just lose track on everything. So I have to write these things down because I just forget all the time. But I have them going Byron Murphy here to try to get that interior pass rush a little bit more younger, rejuvenated. They have a lot of older guys there. And, and try to help out that pass rush a bit. They have Josh Allen for at least this year. We don't know what's going to happen there. And Trayvon Walker is just, I don't even know why they drafted the guy. They lost Caleb Von Chase on as well. So try to help that pass rush a little bit. With the Jets now. The Jets, like I said, they could use a playmaker, but I have them going with this pick. Armarius Mims. Stick with me here. They have Tyron Smith. Tyron Smith is known for going down. All right, this guy's one of the best tackles in the league. Don't get me wrong. This guy is a surefire Hall of Famer. And trust me, I'm a Giants fan. I know. All right. Surefire Hall of Famer, but he gets hurt a lot. Morgan Moses they traded for. He's a guy that's been very consistent. I don't think they go after some random right tackle. Like JC Latham is a guy that I don't see playing left tackle. He's a guy that stays on the right side only. Graham Barton you can get. This is a little early for Graham Barton. I think Armarius Mims was the best pick here. He's a guy that is very young, very fresh, has not played a lot in his collegiate career. He's a guy that you could still mold, and he can play the left tackle spot if you get him to play that and groom him up to be the left tackle of the future, because Tyron Smith is not the left tackle of the future. They are putting a Band-Aid over that because they're trying to they're trying to go somewhere and trying to keep Aaron Rodgers on 2 feet for at least a drive, right? But Armarius Mims is a guy that does not have to start immediately, and he can be first-round talent when he starts to play. So I think this is a really good pick for the Jets. With the Los Angeles Rams, I have them staying in LA and going after Laiatu Latu. I know with the departure and retirement of Aaron Donald that a lot of people are mocking Jerzon Newton, just going Jerzon Newton or Byron Murphy to the Rams, but they still have a good interior pass rush. They could use another pass rusher with Byron Young. They have Kobe Turner on that interior. They could go Jerzon Newton. They very well can, but I think Laiatu Latu is a better prospect. Jerzon Newton, his film is phenomenal. I love this guy, and I think that ranking for him is perfect. For that, that Trevor Sikkema has for PFF. I love Jerzon Newton. It's just I see him dropping. I just see him dropping. Especially when you have a guy like Byron Murphy here as well, who is competing with him as the top defensive interior. Let's go now with the Pittsburgh Steelers. This is such an obvious pick. It's not even funny. If the Seattle Seahawks do not go with Jackson Powers Johnson, it's Pittsburgh is taking Jackson Powers Johnson. They have to. They don't have a center on the roster. Like, there is no center on the roster right now. Our Lads has Nate Herbig, who is a guard, like a depth guard from Philadelphia, now playing center. I don't know if he actually is or Our Lads just plugged him in there. I don't know, but they have to go. Trust me, I don't like Pittsburgh Steelers fans, I don't like Dan Moore Jr. any more than you do. Okay, I get it. I know a lot of people want to get rid of this guy. They don't like him. But you got to go center here. I know it's not the sexiest position. It's probably the least sexy of the offensive line. But, man, this guy is an absolute beast. He is definitely going around this range in the first round. And you would be taking him away from a team like the Miami Dolphins, who could use interior offensive line help. But at 21, I have the Miami Dolphins going J.C. Latham, and they fall right into their laps. He falls right into their laps. J.C. Latham on a lot of boards goes a lot higher, somewhere around the 13-14 range, going to either the Saints or the Raiders. As high as them. I even seen him going as high as the Jets as well. I think that was before Morgan Moses got there. But yeah, this is a plug and play type of pick. I think he's best at guard. I think J.C. Latham is best at guard. I think you put him at guard. You could also put Austin Jackson at guard. It really depends on who wins at what position, who's best at what position. Austin Jackson has played guard. He's back at tackle. Now at right tackle. J.C. Latham you could put at right tackle or right guard. Like, you could put him anywhere you really want to. I don't think J.C. Latham is a left tackle at all. I don't think he's a guy that's going to be protecting the blind side. I don't think he's a great pass protector. I think he's a very powerful mauler in the run game, the best mauling run blocking tackle in this league. In this draft. And he's going to do great on that right side. Depends on where you want to put him. The Denver Broncos, I think they wait long enough here. They can even try to trade down again. I really would not be opposed to the Broncos trading down again, but they stay here and they get Bo Nix. I think Bo Nix is a really good quarterback for Sean Payton, a guy that is a system quarterback who's going to make the reads, and I think Bo Nix is just scared to mess up. That's why he's so good under pressure. Bo Nix is one of the best under pressure quarterbacks in this draft, probably the best. When he's under pressure, he knows exactly where to go with the ball. He doesn't make a lot of mistakes. He doesn't make a lot of errant throws under pressure. He always has a check down option, always knows where he's going under pressure, and I think that's perfect for Sean Payton. Not comparing him to Drew Brees or anything, but Drew Brees was so robotic, so technical when it comes to that. Like, Drew Brees had every route in his head, just knowing where he needed to go when he's under pressure. I think he can get something like that again. Sean Payton can in Denver with Bo Nix. The Chargers are now on the board for the second time in the first round after trading down with the Vikings. They got Brian Thomas Jr. with their first selection. Now, I had them getting Brian Thomas Jr. because you never know if Adonai Mitchell will still be there and Brian Thomas will still be there. They can very well go between these picks. But, however, Adonai Mitchell is still on the board. They go Brian Thomas. It is what it is. Now I have them going Cooper DeJean, the cornerback out of Iowa. I don't know why people don't like Cooper DeJean. I don't know why a lot of people are putting him like 4th, 5th corner on the board, on their big boards. I think Cooper DeJean is probably the best corner in right now. I actually have him like 1A, 1B with Quinyon Mitchell. I like Terrion Arnold. He was my number 1 for a while, but after watching more film, I started with Cooper DeJean. And I get the whole stereotype, right? I get it. But I love Cooper DeJean. I think you can play him anywhere. A lot of people say he can play safety. No. Leave him. I know he's white, but leave him at corner. You could leave him at corner. It's okay. Melanin does not matter. But I love Cooper DeJean. I think he would be a good fit there in LA. All right, now we got the Dallas Cowboys on the board, and Dallas needs to upgrade their offensive line, and they are known. This team is known from taking tackles, making them into guards, and making guards into tackles, and it works. Like, it always works for the Cowboys. So I'm going to have them going Graham Barton, and you can do whatever you want with him. You can put him at guard for now, or if you want to put Tyler Smith at guard and put Graham Barton at tackle, you can do that. It doesn't matter. Same thing what I have like with the Miami Dolphins with J.C. Latham and Austin Jackson. You can do the same thing with Graham Barton. Now, the Green Bay Packers are on the board right now, and they can go in different directions, right? I have the Green Bay Packers going Tyler Guyton, which is going to be a plug-and-play pick there. It's just an obvious need. They can go in different. They can go Jerzon Newton here, right? They can do that. But I have them going, or they can go even a Tyler Nubin. But I have them going with the tackle out of Oklahoma. For some reason I stopped recording, but I have the Buccaneers here. The Buccaneers are a team that can trade down. They aren't a team with a whole bevy of needs, to be honest with you. They could go corner, but I heard they like Zion McCollum a lot, but they don't have a lot of needs. I had them going Jared Verse here to try to differentiate the pass rush. They lost Shaquille Barrett, and Jared Verse stays in Florida. Florida State. He stays in Florida. So have them going Verse here. Now the Cardinals are on the clock, and you know Jared Verse was sniped from them. I think Jared Verse would have been a great fit in Arizona, but I have them going the next best defensive player available, and that is Johnny Jerzon Newton. I don't know if he likes to be called Johnny or Jerzon or whatever, but his film is fantastic, man. I think this is the range he's gonna go in, just because of, like, first of all, positional value. Second of all, when you have a lot of these trades happen, guys fall. Like Jared Verse fell far than I would usually have him, but this is the range where I see him going because of these trades. These trades I put may not happen, but there are trades that are going to happen, and guys are going to fall. All right, so the Buffalo Bills are now on the board, and all right, so the Buffalo Bills are now on the clock, and Adonai Mitchell falls right in their laps. They can just get Adonai Mitchell here. I really don't know what's going on with Stephon Diggs. That man just wants out. He's been wanting out of Buffalo for a while. I get it. You get so far. You get so close, but so far. But, I mean, Buffalo's like the best situation. I don't know where the hell he would want to go besides Buffalo. I mean, that man is targeted like all hell, bro. That man gets like 10 receptions a game. I don't know. But Detroit. We're going to get interesting here, okay? We're going to get a little spicy here, okay? Detroit, if you look on at their roster right now, they really don't have needs. This team is so well off. I love what Dan Campbell did with this team, man, and how he transformed this thing, along with their GM. I love the Detroit Lions. I love what they're doing, and they don't need to go out and reach for a pick here. They don't need any of these guys. They can go Zach Frazier, okay, in the first round. Me personally, I don't have Zach Frazier as a first round guy. So I'm going to have them trading down here. I'm going to have them like kind of evaluating who they can trade with. And I'm going to have them trading with the New York Giants. The New York Giants giving up their 47th and 70th overall pick, their third round pick, for their 29th overall pick. Moving up, they're giving up their third round pick. The next pick they'll have would be in the fourth round. But they go ahead and make this trade, and the Giants are on the board. Who the hell would they be trying to get? The 29th overall pick, moving up from 47 to 29, jumping ahead of teams like the Raiders, who the Raiders are all the way down here. But just in case, I have them going after our guy, Michael Penix Jr., with the 29th overall pick. I like this. I like this a lot. I think the Giants, they missed out on quarterback early here. And I know they really wanted a quarterback. They missed out on quarterback here. I don't know if they go J.J. McCarthy if he were to fall. I don't know that. In this scenario, they don't even get a chance to see. But they miss out on the top four quarterbacks. You're not going to go quarterback with the 6th overall pick. You're going to wait. And they trade their third rounder to get back in the first round. And get themselves a quarterback here, and a guy that can be a good starter. If he can stay healthy, he could be a great starter in the league. Let's move on to the Baltimore Ravens. Now, the Ravens, I heard, have this little meeting with Jordan Morgan, and they had a private workout with him or whatever. That doesn't mean they're actually going to take the guy, right? It doesn't mean that at all. And they really have a glaring need at this wide receiver position, where I'm just looking at it and I'm like, man, there's no height here. There is no like go up and get it type of, like it's all guys that are smaller, try to get separation, things like that. But where's the guy that Lamar Jackson can just throw it up to, that besides Mark Andrews? And I'm going to have them going. And how far does he go down? Oh my God, 55. But I'm going to have them going Keon Coleman here, the wide receiver out of Florida State. I don't want to hear about his 40-yard dash, man. 4.64 40-yard dash. listen, the man can go up and get the ball, line him up on the outside in the red zone, and he's going to go up and get it. I love Keon Coleman in his game. If he doesn't go in the first round at the end of the first, he's going to go in the early to mid-second. Baltimore would still not be able to have a crack at him. He's not falling to them at the end of the second. I guarantee it. They just go ahead and grab him up here with the chance of a fifth-year option. So there's that. Now, I have the 49ers on the board. I've never seen somebody make this pick, but I'm making it today. I'm going to have them going Ladd McConkey, the slot wide receiver out of Georgia. They need slot help. They have Juwan Jennings right now. I think that's his name, Juwan Jennings right now. He's not that good. He's not that good at all. And he's been there for a couple of years. They need something else. They need a guy that can separate, that is a route. I mean, I think he's perfect for Kyle Shanahan. If you want to talk about timing, if you want to talk about being able to separate, learning routes and just being a maestro of the route running game, it's Ladd McConkey, and I think it's perfect for Brock Purdy. It's to have a guy like Ladd McConkey, and on top of that, Deebo Samuel is like always saying, like, I don't think he's happy with the 49ers. Brandon Ayuk is constantly being mocked to be traded constantly. I don't think he's going to be there after this year. You're looking at a whole different wide receiving core probably next year. You might want to start getting ahead of that and getting a guy like Ladd McConkey. I think he's first-round talent, to be honest with you. I know his stats don't really say that, but if you watch him on film, he is first-round talent. Now, Kansas City Chiefs, I have Jordan Morgan. They have Wanya Morris right now, like their third-round pick like 2 years ago, as their starting tackle right now. That cannot be. I'm going to have them taking Jordan Morgan here, who's a plug-and-play left tackle. Probably the only left tackle left on the board that's worth taking, and he falls right to them, right to Kansas City. Now, start of the second round, Carolina has I'm going to try to speed this up here, man, because I am going really slow. How many minutes are we up on? 39 minutes. Jesus Lord. All right, so we're going to try to speed this up a little bit. So 33rd overall, I'm going to have the Carolina Panthers going Chop Robinson. Chop Robinson, I really compare his game to Brian Burns. And like a more raw Brian Burns. He doesn't nearly have the amount of pass rush moves and like spin moves that Brian Burns has, but very, very similar in play style, being speed rushers. And this would be a good pick for Carolina to try to replace Brian Burns. So New England is up, and they have a clear need at wide receiver. Well, like a playmaker at wide receiver. I think Ladd McConkey would have been a great pick there for obvious reasons. So we're gonna go the next best pick, the next best wide receiver option for the New England Patriots, and we're gonna go Ricky Pearsall. Okay, we're gonna do it. Don't question it. All right. The Cardinals are back. Oh, what's going on here? Ab block. The Cardinals are back up with their third selection in this draft so far, and I'm going to have them getting an easy pick here. This is a guy that they could have taken with the 27th overall pick, but he falls to them at the 35th overall pick, and that is Nate Wiggins, the cornerback out of Clemson. Now, I think teams, I watch, NFL Stock Exchange, and I think they're absolutely right on this. Yes, he's super fast, but he's 173 pounds. He's got to be super fast. But 173 pounds, I don't know if that's really like something teams are going to love. I know Emmanuel Mosley came out last year at like almost 165 pounds, but I think I said Emmanuel Mosley. I meant Emmanuel Forbes, but he was like 165 pounds. He was one of the worst rookie corners last year. There was a lot of speculation on him going into the season, but I think Nate Wiggins is not going to be liked too much by NFL teams. I think he's going to be more second round range. Moving with the Commanders have a clear hole at tackle, left tackle. We don't know who their left tackle is really going to be yet. They have like Cornelius Lucas over there, and then some other draft pick they had a couple of years ago. I'm going to have them going Kingsley Suamataia here. He's probably the next best left tackle option. It really gets thin going into the second round. This is why you got to grab a tackle in the first or early second, because it really gets thin going down to like the second, third round. In my honest opinion, it doesn't get much better than that. So Chargers are back up, and listen, I think this is a perfect fit. I think it's fine to double down. They need to address their slot again. I'm gonna have them going Roman Wilson. I'm gonna have them doing it. Okay, you got Jim Harbaugh back. with the Chargers, and you get a little reunion there with Roman Wilson. How about that? How about that? The Titans are now on the board, and they're gonna go Kool-Aid McKinstry. He falls to them. Perfect. I mean, this is perfect for them. They need corner, and Kool-Aid McKinstry falls into the second round. This is perfect. Now we got the 39th overall pick, where the Carolina Panthers are up. This is where the Giants traded for Brian Burns, and they already kind of addressed a Brian Burns type player with Chop Robinson. So who else are they going to go here? I'm going to have them getting, someone that's way better than a Jonathan Mingo. I'm not too high on him. I don't like him for my Giants, but a lot of people love him. He stays in Carolina. Xavier Legette. He's a DK Metcalf type player, and DK Metcalf went right around this range, if I'm not mistaken. A lot of people thought he was going to go in the first round, wound up not going in the first. He falls into the second. Same thing with Xavier Legette. He goes right around this range. Washington is now back on the board after getting Kingsley Suamataia, and I have them going TJ Tampa here, the corner out of Iowa State. Now I have the Green Bay Packers here, and if you remember, I said the Green Bay Packers can go in different directions. They can go Tyler Guyton, they can go defensive interior, or they can go like a Tyler Nubin at safety. They have Xavier McKinney there, but they still have a glaring need at the other safety spot. But look what we have here. We have Tyler Nubin still on the board, and they go Tyler Nubin with the 41st overall pick. Now I have the Houston Texans, after trading down with the Vikings. This is their first selection of the draft, and I'm going to have them going the best linebacker available in Peyton Wilson. He's a guy that can play, I think, all linebacker spots, but you can put him at weak side. Right now, Christian Harris is there. You can put him at weak side linebacker, and he is so good getting to the running back before he gets to the line of scrimmage. He's so good at that. If you line him up on the weak side, let him rush freely and just get to the running back. I mean, he's great at that. Absolutely great at that. I think Peyton Wilson would be a good pick for the Texans. Now, the Atlanta Falcons are on the clock, and I'm going to have them take Kamari Lassiter, the corner. I swear I'm not doing this on purpose, where a lot of these guys stay in the same state as they played in college. It just matches. I don't know what it is. Maybe it's appealing to the eye. I don't know. But I just really feel like Kamari Lassiter would be a really good... Putting him here is great because he doesn't need to be a number one. He doesn't need to be arguably number one, right? Where you have two corners who are kind of good and they kind of switch on who's better. Obviously, you got AJ Terrell there. He's the number one corner. And then you can get a guy like Kamari Lassiter to be that clear number two. I think that's perfect for them. I know they have Clark Phillips there right now, but he's not great, right? He's not great. So you put Kamari Lassiter, plug and play at cornerback. Now, the Raiders. Raiders fans, if you're watching, don't get mad at me. Okay? Do not get mad at me. But I'm going to have them. This is the only possible spot I have Rattler going. And it's to the Raiders. Now, they miss out on Michael Penix because the Giants traded up. They miss out on a guy like J.J. McCarthy, Bo Nix, right? They miss out on all these guys. You have Aiden O'Connell there. You got Gardner Minshew there, who's probably going to be your starter. And you could have Spencer Rattler learn under Gardner Minshew, I guess. Is he a good mentor? I don't know. But kind of groom Spencer Rattler up, because I really think he could be a starting quarterback. And I guess it would be great for Spencer Rattler to compete for that QB2 position, instead of just being QB2 and not competing with anybody, just legitimately competing with someone who has NFL experience in Aiden O'Connell, and then eventually try him out to be your starter next year. Instead of just waiting to see what you get next year, where you rank next year to get a quarterback next year, just get Spencer Rattler and see where you go. Now, this team has a lot of needs. It's not like getting somebody at a different position here is going to fix all of that. So just get a Spencer Rattler and see what happens. Just see what happens. Quarterback is a really big, really big problem there in Las Vegas. Now, 45, I have the Saints going Braden Fisk here. He's a guy that's rising up a lot of boards, man. He went from a fourth rounder all the way up to a second rounder, and I love his tape. He's an absolute disruptor up the middle, and the Saints can definitely use that on their defensive line and get a lot younger as well, because their defensive line in the interior is pretty damn old, and on the edge as well. You still have Cam Jordan there. I believe they signed Chase Young, if I'm not mistaken. So they're rejuvenating that line very slowly but surely. Now you have the Colts are on the clock, and I'm going to have them going Troy Franklin. He drops a bit. That combine performance wasn't great. That gauntlet drill, I was so disappointed in that gauntlet drill. I think Troy Franklin has one of the best releases for a guy his size in this draft. He's very quick on his feet, very nimble. I love his release game. He's a deep threat. He showed that he can catch the ball pretty well. He just didn't seem very confident in his hands. So I have him falling a bit. He's a guy that could have went in the end of the first, but he drops to the mid-second here. It's kind of mid-second to the Colts. Now, 47th overall, this is the Detroit Lions' first pick after trading down with the New York Giants, and they get a guy that they could have gotten in the first round if they really reach for a guy. But they get Zach Frazier here. Zach Frazier, I don't know why people kind of drink the Kool-Aid on him. I like him. I think he's a good second-round prospect. I don't see him as a first-round prospect. I think this is where the range he goes. And with Frazier, Frank Ragnow is another guy that doesn't know if he wants to retire or not. He came back. He's coming back this year. We don't know what the future holds next year, and they can probably use some guard depth. And he's a guy that can eventually start for them. And Ragnow is known for being very injury prone. This is a very good insurance plan for that situation. And he's a good player. He's a guy that should be worth taking here. And like I said, this is a team with not a lot of needs. They can afford getting some depth there, or he can probably play a guard spot. Who knows? He has very short arms, though. Jacksonville Jaguars are now up, and I'm going to have them going a slot corner here in Mike Sainristil. I don't know. They could go outside corner here, like Ennis Rakestraw, possibly. You know what? That could probably be a better pick. I have them going Michigan corner here. Michigan, because they have right now a safety playing cornerback. So, in Antonio Johnson. So, I'm going to have them going a legit cornerback that can play very well, very good in zone, very instinctive in zone. Now, the Jets, finally, they have their second-round pick. The Jets have their second-round pick, and it's going to be very, very well worth it. If you remember, they got Amarius Mims with the 18th overall pick after trading down with the Bengals, and they go ahead and get, how far is this guy down? They go ahead and get one of the most electrifying players in this draft, and a guy that, man, Aaron Rodgers. You give Aaron Rodgers a guy like Xavier Worthy, and he's gonna be the most grateful quarterback in the league. I know Xavier Worthy is like a guy where you don't really know where to put him at. End of the first round. A lot of people have him going in the third round. That's a possibility as well. His speed, a lot of people say don't count his speed twice. I think Trevor Sikkema said it. The NFL Stock Exchange PFF guy said it. Don't count his speed twice. And that's obvious, obvious to note. So this is right around the range I can see Worthy going. And Aaron Rodgers, they can use a deep threat. Obviously, you have a Garrett Wilson there. But if you want a guy opposite Garrett Wilson that can just go deep, you got a guy like Xavier Worthy. All right. So the Denver Broncos are now on the clock, and they're going to take Ennis Rakestraw. He's going to be a plug-and-play cornerback. They're missing a boundary corner, so they're going to go ahead and take a boundary corner there. 51, I'm going to have the Pittsburgh Steelers still addressing offensive line because it is in shambles right now. I'm going to have Kiran Amadej. I'm not even going to try to pronounce that name. But the tackle prospect out of Yale. I know a Yale prospect going this early is crazy, but a lot of people love him. He's going up boards, and he's a guy that doesn't need to start automatically. He won't start day one. It'll probably be Dan Moore, but eventually he'll get to start because Dan Moore is not good, and I can see him taking over the reins very quickly. The Rams, a team that just needs help all over the place. They got guys leaving everywhere, retiring. Even last year they had a lot of holes. I'm gonna have them going Javon Bullard here, safety out of Georgia. Next, I have the Philadelphia Eagles going the next best linebacker available, and I'm gonna have them taking Edgerrin Cooper, Texas A&M linebacker. They have Nakobe Dean over there. They don't know if they like him or not, and I'll be honest with you, he probably will not be starting. So Edgerrin Cooper can take his spot immediately, and I believe they got another linebacker in there as well, if I'm not mistaken. So Moving on with the Cleveland Browns, I'm going to have them taking Darius Robinson. I was really high on Robinson at some point, but as I was doing this mock draft, I noticed him falling. I'm like, somebody's got to take him, and I think Robinson would be a good fit there. Cleveland Browns are another team that is very well off, could use a lot of depth, and with, you know, having Zadarius Smith in there and Myles Garrett, they can use a little bit of youth there on the line, you know, for, you know, rotation wise. So Darius Robinson would be a good pick there for the Cleveland Browns. 55 overall, I have the Miami Dolphins addressing their defensive interior after losing a guy like Christian Wilkins and getting Rook Ororo out of Clemson. This is an obvious pick here. I'm going to have the Dallas Cowboys going Jonathan Brooks here out of Texas, Dallas. They need a running back. They lost Tony Pollard. Obviously, Ezekiel Elliott left 2 years ago, and I don't think you want a guy like Deuce Vaughn. Although I love Deuce Vaughn, I don't think you want Deuce Vaughn being your starting running back, or that other running back Dowdle they have over there. So, all right, so the Bucs are now on the board, and now they can address needs that actually match for where they are in the draft, because they could use another running back, they could use linebacker, they could use some depth corner, and I had them going Junior Colson here, the linebacker out of Michigan, eventual replacement for Levante David, who is an ageless wonder at this point. He's still like one of the best linebackers in the league, and he is so old, especially for the linebacker position. It's insane. That man's gonna have CTE up the ass when he's older. I hope, God forbid, but Jesus, man, he's been around forever. And then they have KJ Britt over there. They lost Devin White, so they replaced him with Junior Colson here. Next, we have the Green Bay Packers at 58, and I have them going defensive interior, T'Vondre Sweat, the nose tackle. Man, he's going to be a great fit there with Kenny Clark and guys over there. That D-line is going to be absolutely scary, and this is right around where I see T'Vondre Sweat going. I don't believe in the first-round hype there. He's too rotational to be a first round guy. I want a guy that's going to be on the field majority of the time if I'm going to take him in the first round. So the Texans, that's where for the Packers, that's where I see Texas T'Vondre Sweat going. So we're going to go with the Houston Texans now, and I'm going to have them taking addressing their wide receivers and kind of adding a little bit of depth there, a little bit of variety in Jalen Polk. He's a guy with probably the best hands in the in this draft. Right up there with like how good Marvin Harrison could catch the ball, but this guy catches absolutely everything. Not the best route runner, but you already have Nico Collins there. You have Tank Dell there. I guess you can have him rotate with Noah Brown. Noah Brown isn't really a starter to me, so Jalen Polk would be good in with the Houston Texans. Next, I have the Buffalo Bills, and Buffalo can go as far as defensive interior go. I have them defensive interior. I like Michael Hall a lot. I don't know why he's all the way at 104. I like Michael Hall a lot, and I know they like athletic beasts over there with Buffalo, but I'm going to have them going Chris Jenkins here, just to get the best defensive tackle available. They love that rotation. They love that rotation on the defensive line, and they could use that. 61, I have the Detroit Lions going Devontae Walker. I'm not a big fan of Jermaine Burton, and I like Jalen McMillan, but he's a slot guy, so I just have Devontae Walker. If he could just catch the ball, he's a good fit. 62, this is another surprise. I have Chris Braswell falling all the way down to 62, and the Ravens just scoop him up because they've been dealing with trying to get some pass rush up for a while. They took chances on guys like Ojabo, and they had that other guy in there. I can't remember his name, but they could use a little bit more rotation with Chris Braswell. I think he just seems like a Raven to me. The way he plays, just seems like a Raven to me. So now this could be one of my favorite picks here. We're gonna go offensive interior. Christian Haynes, he falls to them. I think Christian Haynes is a top second round pick, but with other needs happening, like I said, I'm really high on Christian Haynes, but he falls right to the 49ers. I thought this is too perfect to pass up, and they grab him. They can use guard help. They really can. Their offensive line is just not good. besides Trent Williams and Christian Haynes. Just put him anywhere on that offensive line. Put him anywhere on that guard spot, left or right. He's going to play well. And then last pick, I can finally stop talking. Last pick, the Kansas City Chiefs. Whew, I'm gonna have them going. Last pick, Javon Baker, wide receiver out of UCF. They need playmakers, man. They need playmakers. Javon Baker is a playmaker at the wide receiver position. They need that. They got Marquise Brown, which is great. They can use a guy on the outside like Javon Baker, bro. I love this pick. And that will conclude my mock draft. If you guys enjoyed the video, this was a long one. If you guys enjoyed it, make sure you guys hit that like button. Why is it not showing my whole draft here? Can I see my whole draft? Full results. So this is everything I have. If you guys enjoyed it, make sure you guys hit that like button and subscribe if you guys are new to the channel. If you guys are Giants fans, definitely make sure you subscribe because I have a New York Giants mock draft, and it's going to be different from this one. It's not going to be the same thing. It's going to be different. So if you guys like New York Giants content, make sure you guys subscribe, and I'm going to have a New York Giants mock draft very, very soon. But that being said, guys, like I said, like the video, subscribe, and I'll see you guys next time.